Hey, what's going on, everyone? Snodzilla back with another video. This one I'm actually extremely happy about. I recently came across a local, privately owned video game store. Out here, we have a good amount of stuff, but it's all corporation driven. GameStop, the Exchange, even though the Exchange has a somewhat of a local feel to it, but the pricing and stuff is it is what it is, right? And I'm actually it's nice to have that stuff around because it gives you obviously different options to go pick up video games and whatnot, especially with the Exchange because they have all kinds of stuff, especially when it comes to pop culture, toys, collectibles, all kinds of stuff. I enjoy going through there, and in time as I start to adjust to what I'm doing on this channel, I'll be taking you into some of those. But anyways, what I want to get back to is I recently found this video game store about a half hour away from me, and I was fortunate enough to make a trip out there a few days ago. And the place is awesome, and the store behind it is even better. The person who opened the store actually opened, it was like 2 or 3 weeks before COVID actually hit. So within opening of 2 or 3 weeks before COVID, he had to shut down shortly after. And this is a guy who came from a well-paid corporation job, and just through talking to him, he was like, man, I just couldn't do it anymore. Like the rat race and everything, and it was interesting. He had a few choice words for, working for these big places that kind of got you. We're all there, probably most of us, and I really envy the guy because very knowledgeable, just a cool store. I eventually would like to take you in there. I just wasn't, first time being there, I didn't want to say, hey man, can I film you? But I would be surprised if he wouldn't let me anyways, but in due time as we continue to evolve with the channel. But he had everything there. It was well designed. Like I said, just good talk with him and just to see how he got started. And he's like, the difference now is I get to work 2 hours early and I love it, right? He's like, when I worked for a corporation, I was walking in those doors literally minutes before I had to start and I just hated it. And those are some strong words. And I'm sure a lot of people can feel that and relate to that. So, and he's like, yeah, even when the store closes down, I'm not in a rush to get home because I'm surrounded by everything I enjoy. So it was a very good talk, and I had to buy some stuff, man. I was there, and I came across a few really cool things. I'm sure you're going to see it in the title there. But first, I'm going to show you a couple of the pickups I got. I just thought these are cool. He had these couple, they're like metal signs, and this is it the greatest Atari game ever? No, but if you know the story behind this, and there are documentaries out there about this game. It is really interesting, and I apologize, I do not remember any of the names of the documentary. I know one was basically on the Atari, but it was really interesting how this game was developed, how they essentially rushed the game out, and just ended up what happening. And sure, a lot of if you're know anything about video games, these were essentially put in landfills because this game was so bad, and it was a pretty bad game. But I just thought this was cool. It's a sign I'm eventually going to hang up and relive those old days. I actually do not have that game. I don't have. As I breaking stuff here, I don't have an Atari, and that's something I eventually got to get. Speaking of games, if you saw any of my other previous videos, I had to get this. Another Mike Tyson's Punch-Out again, but this is just the sign. This will eventually go up as I still try to figure out how to configure things around here. Enough said with that one. One of the greatest Nintendo games, in my opinion. Now, I did some video game pickups as well. I apologize for the light. I'm looking at this now. I still got to get all that stuff configured. But I actually purchased 2 Nintendo games, and they're not like officially licensed old Nintendo games. These are games that just came out, and not just came out, but that they've kind of put out there. You see why. I actually got a 2023 Tecmo Super Bowl. This has all updated rosters and everything. I'm actually really looking forward to playing this game, and I'm going to test my editing skills. So hopefully with this video, what you're going to see me is cutting to me playing this game. Again, sorry if you can't really see that, but I had to get it. Screw Madden. I want to play this, man. again, for those older guys like me that, I mean, I could play Madden. I play Madden well, but man, just getting able to play this on the Nintendo with current rosters and everything, I'm looking forward to that. And the other one runs along the same lines. This one is NCAA football. Again, if you know anything about NCAA football, it's been gone for 9-10 years now. I think 13 or 14 was the last one. Again, this is a Tecmo Bowls themed NCAA football. Now, I believe there's only like 30 teams on it. It's not like the full... sorry, guys, I had a little itch there. It's not the full, 100 and some NCAA Division I football teams. But nonetheless, again, you're going to see hopefully my editing skills on this one and a cut to me playing that game as well. I am really excited about playing both those. Again, Tecmo Super Bowl, one of my favorite games of all time, without a doubt. And now the last one. This is the one that you're going to see in the title of the video. And speaking of, again, I'm going to take a second here. I always think it's silly, but I'm going to do it. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't done any of those, the likes always help. Always like to hear from people. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think of these. Maybe you might have this one that I'm going to be showing here. But please, I always look forward to comments. I read them all. I respond to all. You know, it's not like I'm some big guy out here that doesn't, has millions of subscribers and, don't have the time to go through all that. But I do. I appreciate it. But on to the last thing here. Now, if you were a kid that grew up, especially in the early 80s, you had to kind of sneak to watch some of these movies. I remember I spent a lot of time at my cousin's house, so we got to see, my cousins were a little older than me, so I got exposed to a lot of horror genre movies that I probably shouldn't have been watching at the time. And this doesn't fall in the horror genre. This is a comedy in kind of racy type movie, so to say. But these movies were hilarious. This game was terrible. I played it back in the day. Again, I do not have an Atari. I need to get one because you got to have an Atari, especially if you're as old as I am. And that's the first system I grew up playing. But this was a 80s movie turned video game. And it is complete inbox Porky's. Now, if you ever seen these movies, you know exactly what. This is for the Atari 2600. Here's a little clip. I'm going to try to get as close as I can. If you can see there, just look at how cool or how terrible the video game, what it looks like on there. And again, if you're not familiar with the movie, I suggest maybe giving it a watch. You'll see exactly why I said what I said about the movie. Movies are hilarious. The video game, not so good. But I saw this. I actually was watching a few things on eBay. And as I continue to grow here, my goal is not to be purchasing a lot of stuff on eBay because I actually like to go and see it, right? I like, I'm not looking for complete mint boxes. Obviously, the mintier, the better. But I want to be able to go and support local places, or if I find stuff at flea markets, garage sales, yard sales, whatever it may be, I like to physically see it. And, because sometimes, hey, we've all bought stuff on eBay, and it doesn't always match the description. And I'm not a big fan of returning things unless it doesn't just flat out work or it's completely opposite of what the description says. I think I can count on one hand how many times I've had to return something on eBay. But to be able to find this out in the wild, so to say, again, going to a video game store, privately owned, I had to grab it, man. Again, the game is terrible. It really is. I mean, but just the nostalgia of it. This will sit on my shelf. You see my shelf slowly starting to come together. Some of that stuff I'm not keeping. It'll be moving again. Down in the link, I'll also, not in the link, but in the description, I'll have a link to our Facebook group where I'm going to start doing some live sales. It's all been sports card related before, but I've changed over some. I'm going to do some live video game sales and pop culture stuff, whether it's VHS, toys, anything that I kind of get my hands on that I don't keep. I like to try to buy lots, like group lots of stuff, and keep what I want out of it and just turn around and sell the rest off that I might not want. So there it is, the big one, Porky's. Again, not an overly expensive game or anything like that, but it brings back some memories for me, and it'll be a cool thing to put on my shelf. So that is it again. And if you can, if you made it this far of me blabbering on, my editing skills, any suggestions? We'll see how this goes. Eventually, I'd like to have an intro. We'll see if we get there. I have no idea on how to edit stuff, so this is my first attempt at that. But again, I appreciate everyone who takes the time to give it a watch. If you give it a like, comment, subscribe, all that, that'd be much more appreciated as well. But until next time, thanks again, everyone. And remember, just to be good to each other. We'll see you.